self-realization. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. The Lord advised Arjuna to regulate the senses from the beginning so that he could curb the greatest sinful enemy, lust, which destroys the urge for self-realization and specific knowledge of the self. Jnana refers to knowledge of the self as distinguished from non-self, or in other words, knowledge that the spirit soul is not the body. Vijnana refers to specific knowledge of the spirit soul's conditional position and his relationship to the Supreme Soul. It is explained thus in the Srimad Bhagavatam 2.9.31. Jnanam paramabhuyam me yat vijnana samamritam sarahasyam tad angamcha vidhana viditam maya. The knowledge of the self and the Supreme Self is very confidential and mysterious. But such knowledge and specific realization understood if explained with their various aspects by the Lord Himself. Bhagavad Gita gives us the general and specific knowledge of the self. The living entities are parts and parcels of the Lord, and therefore they are simply meant to serve the Lord. This consciousness is called Krishna consciousness. So from the very beginning, one has to learn this Krishna consciousness, and thereby one may become fully Krishna conscious and act accordingly. Love is only the perverted reflection of the love of God, which is natural for every living entity. But if one is educated in Krishna consciousness from the very beginning, the natural love of God cannot deteriorate into lust. When love of God deteriorates into lust, it is very difficult to return to the normal condition. Nonetheless, Krishna consciousness is so powerful that even a late beginner even a late beginner can become a lover of God by following the relative principles of devotional service. So from any stage of life or from the time of understanding its urgency, one can begin regulating the senses in Krishna consciousness. Devotional service of the Lord turn the lust into love of Godhead, the highest perfectional stage of human life. Om Ajnana Timirandasya Gyananjana Shalakya Chaksuranamiritam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vancha Kalavatarubhyascha Dita Sindhubhya Eva Cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Hare Tasmat Tvam Indriyanya Iyam Ya Bharatvaha Pakmanam Pratihi Yenam Jnana Vijnanasanam. Therefore, Arjuna, best of the Bharatas, in the very beginning, covered this great symbol of sin, lust, by regulating the senses, and slay this destroyer of knowledge and self-realization. In another verse in Bhagavad Gita, when Arjuna asked Krishna, I know everything, but why I can't follow it? Why I still, do something simple? And Krishna answered to Arjuna, that's only because of lust. Only Esha, Krishna said. Esha means what? In Sanskrit there is a idam, everything, that. And Esha means only this one. So you have only one problem, Krishna answered with lust. Because of lust, you have lots of another problems. Here you have key problem. If you solve this one problem, you will solve so many problems. For example, I'm a married man. I'm married for maybe 25 years already. Yeah, when I was a brahmachari, I understood I have a problem. I can't remain brahmachari with this problem. What is the solution? And I read from Prabhupada's letters that you can't be a grihastha, have only one wife. In your life, only one woman. And in this case, your last problem will be solved. Yeah, and get married, and yeah, it's worked. It's working. That's enough. Okay. Therefore, there is an ashramas in the Vedic culture for solving this only one problem. So we have one problem, last, and in this verse, Krishna said to Arjuna that this problem you should solve first. They have this word adal, means firstly, in the first step. If you don't solve this problem, you don't make any good advancement in spiritual life. And we can say it in religious institutions, that there is various religious institutions. And if they not, face to this, there is no spiritual development. It's only a materialistic religion. Another way to continue material existence. In Srimad Bhagavatam, Lord Kapila say that if you are religious in mood of passion, ignorance, and even in mood of goodness, actually this is not spiritual advancement. This is just another way to continue material existence. I am just, very pure in material existence. But life after another life. One body after another body. So my problem doesn't solve. My last mood of goodness, that's all. My problem doesn't solve. Very beautiful wife, very beautiful, they have good car, but last is there. So this is the problem. And Krishna told here to Arjuna, you should solve this problem. And he used this word, we can say very harsh word, very strong word. You should try. You should be very, vigorous with this enemy. Why is it so? Because lust or concentration on one's own passions and desires, for me. I'm in the center. And because I'm in the center, everything for me. For example, when Srila Prabhupada came to Paris and installed the deities, he called the deities Radha Parishishwar, Lord of Paris. And during the lectures, Prabhupada said that, French woman is famous for romance and everything like that. So Krishna came here to New Goddess. Yeah, there is a beautiful romantic woman in Paris, no doubt, and Prabhupada saw it. But this one for Krishna, not for me. Yeah, they're very beautiful, no problem. Very beautiful for Krishna. But when we saw beautiful woman, we may think another way. Such a beautiful woman. It would be very nice if she was for me. My wife is not so beautiful anymore, Too old, too fat. Think all the time, This one is goddess. Yeah, that's means last. That's his last. For me, everything for me. I'm in the center, and everything for me. That's, we can say, philosophical understanding of what is last. What's last? So last is literally kills a person desire for self-realization. Literally kills. It's an enemy. If you aren't lost and lost soul, see the desire for self-realization in your heart will kill you. Either me or this desire, either me or spiritual advancement. You should choose. You can't choose both. You can't be lost and spiritual advancement. It's not existing simultaneously in one person. You should choose. When we just begin our spiritual advancement, maybe we can, how to say, reconcile it. But after some time, we should understand, either last, either spiritual advancement. I can't have both of it. Just can't. So Krishna said he, Jnana Vijnana Nashanam, that lust kills desire for self-realization. Therefore, control of the senses is very important. Very important. Problem is, control is not very, for so many things, control is not very effective, isn't it? You can restrain senses, but still they are, and they're active, especially if you have young body. Young body means very, agitated senses, very active senses. I'm 45 now, and I still have active senses. Still. I like to eat food, I like everything. My senses are working. I remember my grandma, she was about 80 years old, and she doesn't feel any taste in food. When she eats, she wasn't happy. Because she remembered that this food should be, delicious. But I can't feel it now. You can have so many, varieties, but the taste is the same when you are old. Because Varuna came out from your body. Came out and you don't have, your senses became very weak. Yeah, I'm 45 and my senses are still strong. So control of the senses is very important from one point, and from another point is very difficult. Very difficult, especially in Kali Yuga, and because we don't have a good background, family background. We don't, get born or birth from very Brahminical families with some, how to say, traditions, things like that. For example, Shankaracharya, he became a sannyasi, I think, in when he was 7. And when he was 11 or 12, he already wrote all his main scriptures, all his main commentaries, 11 or 12. And he lived about 22 or something like that. 7 years. Madhvacharya took sannyas also, in age like something like that. That's mean patience, That's mean control of the senses. Yeah, just don't need it. No problem. we are not like that. Me for sure, not like that. My background is not so glorious, we can say. So the control of the senses is not very easy task for me or for, I think, many of us, most of us. Yeah. Therefore, in spiritual life, Srila Prabhupada gives this very good point that we shouldn't restrain senses. So control senses doesn't mean we should restrain it. Don't do anything. Control of the senses means direct senses. For example, if you have a children, they always very active. And if you tell to the children, just sit here, it's just impossible practically. Just impossible. Because too much energy. too active. But you should direct him, run there, give me this thing there, 200 kilometers. Run there, give it me this, give it to me. You run there, here and there, and you just sit, run there, run here, run there. And in the evening time, he became tired and go to sleep. Phew. Parents are happy. So you should direct it, you should use it. So the control of the senses means you should learn how to use it, not to restrain it. Because restrain it is impossible. If you try to restrain the senses, you will eventually dive into sense enjoyment, but in a very perverted way. In a very perverted way. Because you try to, restrain it, try to press it. So we should always science how to direct senses. And in Krishna consciousness, actually it's not very difficult. Because Krishna is beautiful. Because Krishna is attractive. Krishna is from Akarshan. Like a cowboy, we have this lasso. And he can Akarshan someone to him, can attract. Krishna he's so beautiful, he forcefully attract everyone attracted. Even demons attracted by Krishna. Yes, he's very beautiful. I hate him. But he's so beautiful. But I hate him. But why is he so beautiful? Therefore, even demons, get benefits by hating Krishna. Krishna is so attractive, most attractive. He's forcefully attractive to everyone. Forceful. He's so beautiful. So that's mean that in spiritual life, in Krishna consciousness, sense control much more easier than in any other religious, movement, where there is no, how to say, detail and bright picture of personality of God. For example, that's the Vedic exclusiveness, we can say. In the Vedas, God described in details what his face, or the color of the dress, even form, shape, the earrings are described. Everything. So you can go to the spiritual world and no doubt you will find Krishna there. You will know him. Not Krishna because, earrings, this peacock feather, everything described in Vedas. Yeah, I know you are Krishna. No doubt. That's the Vedic unique of the Vedas. Lord described there in a very detailed way, you can say. So activity of the senses cannot be stopped, checked, suppressed. It's just impossible. However, senses can and should be directed. Then we have intelligence. Intelligence there is for directing the senses. There is one secret. If you want to have strong intelligence, you should every day read Vedas. Every day read Bhagavad Gita. Because Shastra, Vedic scriptures, is the food for the intelligence, called intelligence. If you don't eat Bhagavad Gita every day, your intelligence will be weak. And mind and senses will be strong. So if you want to have strong intelligence every day, at least one verse, one commentary. At least one devotee wrote to Srila Prabhupada, I am a very simple person, I just like to work with hands. And Prabhupada answered him, yeah, I can see you're not so Brahminical, but at least you can read one verse and one commentary a day in the morning. And you will be in Krishna consciousness during your work, because your intelligence will be strong for this day. Every day, every day. So the senses should be directed. And here are some examples. The eyes must be used properly. The objects that we see, contemplate, change our consciousness, isn't it? If we see something beautiful, for example, when I first time came to India, we came to Delhi temple, Radha temple, and it was the first time when I saw big deity. First time, because usually we have small golden temples in the temple. They're big Radha Krishna deity, and I was very impressed. Wow, my devotion became, very, how to say, growing up. Krishna is so beautiful. I don't want to leave the temple. I just sit here and chanting Jai Krishna is so beautiful. So object that we see change our consciousness. If we saw naked woman, something like that, our consciousness will change. And if we saw deities, our consciousness became godly, became pure, because object is pure. In this verse, in the Bhagavad Gita, the eye are compared to the gates or doors to our consciousness. They have so many doors, ears, eyes, and so on. So if the doors are wide open and there is no check, like in border, who are you? Where is your visa? Get lost. You should have, border guard in your eyes. A naked woman get lost. It's not very good. Not very good object. Get lost. You should check. So if there's a doors and these doors are wide open, there is no check, then the thieves came and stole everything from you. They have some here, yeah, sometimes ago. Actually, many temples have this problem because doors of the temple are widely open for everyone. And so someone came not for Krishna consciousness, but for taking something. What can we do? This is material world. Therefore, it is very important to be selective in what we look at. Choosing objects for contemplation, we can figure our consciousness in a certain way. It is very important what we see in the morning and very important what we see in the evening. We can't see Krishna every moment right now. We should work and everything like that. But if we saw Krishna in the morning, we will remember him during the day. If we saw Krishna in the evening, we will remember him during the night. And that's what Srila Prabhupada do. Morning program, evening program. Morning, you see deity, chanting Hare Krishna. Evening, you see deity, chanting Hare Krishna. Whole day, whole night, no problem. You remember Krishna. Because Krishna is very attractive. When you see Krishna, you became attractive to Krishna. No doubt. You will be attracted. You just should do this every day. Every day. So every day you should see beautiful forms of the deities. It's not very difficult, isn't it? But by this way you control the senses. By seeing beautiful Krishna. And the senses under control. Controlled senses means you feel happiness. When senses under control, you feel peacefulness and happiness. That's the sign of controlled senses. You feel happiness and peacefulness. If you are unhappy, senses are not controlled. Senses are just suppressed. And this is dangerous. For ears, another gateway to the city of our consciousness. It is hard to imagine something that affects consciousness more than sound, isn't it? Sound, in the Vedas, you can find that sound is the most subtle substance in the world. And therefore, sound gives deepest impact in our consciousness, to our consciousness. Deepest impact, sound. It is very important what we are hearing. Nothing are, how to say, comparing to the sound. Just try watch movie without sound. You will not be attracted. It will be very boring. Just turn off the sound. It will become boring in the same moment. Huh? Yeah, boring. Boring, not funny, boring. After 10-15 minutes, you will switch off the movie. Because it's boring. Because there is no sound. Sound is very important. We can hear songs without pictures, and it will be very attractive. But picture without sound is very boring, useless. When we hear rhythmic music, we react almost instantly, isn't it? That's the powers of Harinam, because we have this Vedanga and people. I heard Beatles came to India for learning the rhythm, because India and African countries famous for that. Western music doesn't contain a rhythm, only melody. But rhythm is from drums, and in India, in any state of India, they have their own type of drums and use it very very nicely. I was one day in Tirupati, and every morning one very old man came there to the temple before darshanarati, before morning program, and he played drum there, just before the entrance of the temple. He wasn't his own devotee, just living nearby, but every day he came there and playing the drums, call out people, came here. There's something important, came in. In Sanskrit, the sound is called a shabda. And the Vedas describe that there is a primordial sound of the universe, as it's called Shabda Brahman, or absolute truth in the form of sound. So if you want to understand absolute truth, there is no other way, only hearing. There is one name of Krishna mentioned in Srimad Bhagavatam, Shruti. One who can be obtained by Shruti, by hearing. There's only one way. For example, you came to the temple, you came to the altar, is there. But then devotee came to you and he told you, here is a Krishna, here is a deity. I see now. You can't see Krishna if you don't hear about him first. First hearing. If we hear Shabda Brahman, if we hear this original sound, absolute truth, sound about absolute truth, you will understand everything. So the sound came to your consciousness, and like a flower will open. For example, Lord Brahma is the most we can say, intelligent person in the universe. How he get his knowledge? By hearing Krishna's flute. Imagine you hearing flute, and all the philosophy came to you into your mind, all the understanding. That's the power of spiritual sound. Interesting. We are not like that, We should hundreds times hearing about the same truth. We are not the body, we are not the body. And only after 1,000, 2,000 times we will understand something. But Lord Brahma is very intelligent. It's interesting point that Lord Brahma get all his knowledge by hearing the flute of the Krishna. It means that education may be very artistic. Education may be very pleasant for the ears. But if you are very intelligent, just like Lord Brahma. So this subtle spiritual sound should take a very important place in our lives. Srila Prabhupada has set a simple standard in our society, Krishna consciousness society. In the morning we study Srimad Bhagavatam, and in the evening we study Bhagavad Gita. And despite the fact that these are books, they can also be called Shabda Brahman. Yeah, books are in the paper, but there is a sound in it. When you read the books, what are you doing in your mind? Produce sound, isn't it? You read it, and you hear this transcendental sound. So it's not just the book. Prabhupada called his book written ecstasy. Ecstasy that was written on the paper. So when you read Prabhupada's book, you can feel his ecstasy. And you hear Shabda Brahma, the spiritual sound in your consciousness. Because everyone, when we read the books, make a sound in our mind, isn't it? At least I do it. I don't know what about you, but I do it. Neglecting these philosophical books, Shastra, and attentive listening to lectures results in a spiritual weakness. We became very weak. We will become very weak. And Maya will conquer us. Then, nostrils. Also very important gates to our consciousness. Through the nostrils, we can perceive odors, some smells. Therefore, it is also important to fill our life with very good smells. Isn't it? Smell change the consciousness very easily. For example, when you came to the toilet, and consciousness, and toilet is dirty, consciousness, change it in a second. You want to run from this place. And if you came to the place when there's, smells of sandalwood or, jasmine like that, you want to stay there. Let me stay here for a little bit more, enjoying everything like that. So, the smell of incense offered to the deity, or smell of prasadam food offered to deities, has most beneficial effect on our consciousness. We should smell it. So soon there will be some prasadam. Let us smell it first. And it will change our consciousness. It will be very good. Ayurveda told us that when you smell the food, the digestion already started. Already. Our food should have very good smell.
We are waiting for the RT.
Huh? Oh. Okay. Okay.
You can ask for questions. The pujari is not here yet.
Yeah, maybe one question, two. Yeah. This time, yeah. You catch mouth is less thing, but I don't have time.
You can do that.
Next time.
Есть вопрос?
Sorry. Вопрос?
Да, есть вопрос.
Okay.
Да. I will translate.
Hare Krishna.
Вы говорите, нет?
Our God is omnipotent and very great. If He takes our remembrance when we come to the material world, maybe there is a benefit of that. Because He gave us the Shishopanishad, Bhagavad Gita, Chaitanya Charitamrita, all the scriptures, what He gave us. By these transcendental scriptures, we can expand our consciousness. But if we have these scriptures, we can progress. By the Sambandha Jnana, by the knowledge of Sambandha, we can improve our knowledge. But what the people who have no intelligence and they have an opportunity to take the knowledge. What the people, if the God control everything, what the people will do if they don't have this opportunity to take the knowledge and to improve their intelligence?
The first point, when you say that Krishna taking off memories from us, I not really agree with that. In Chaitanya Charitamrita, it is said Krishna Bahirmukh. We are facing off Krishna. Not he, how to say, выгнать.
Turn out.
Turn out us, I don't like you, go away from the Vaikuntha. No. We're turning off from Krishna. And Krishna thinking, yeah, okay, you want to try alone, you want to try separate. But you can't live separate, you can't, feel yourself that you are separate from me. If I, don't have a knowledge, don't take off knowledge from you, knowledge about me. So the only thing that we should do is, again, facing on Krishna. That's all. That's all. And everyone has this opportunity. Everyone. For example, here in Helsinki also there is a temple. Yeah, I don't know that there is a temple in Helsinki. No problem. The devotee will came to you. With Harina, with Prasadam, with books. Temple will came to you. Can you hear the book? You may go. Chanting. There was one devotee who distributed books like that. He looked very authoritatively. Thank you. You see this book? You should take it. It's very nice book. How much it costs? Not very much, 100 rubles. Now you may go.
It's more.
Like that. Я не помню. Like that, he distributed lots of books like that. People like it. It's very, very, very good book. Yeah, it's very good book. Like, like a mafiosi from, this old American movies, Godfather, like that. You should take this book. So everyone have opportunity. If you don't understand books, no problem, take prasadam. Everyone understands prasadam. We can have, philosophical difficulties and something like that. No difficulties with prasadam. Everyone needs it. Especially sweet prasadam. Everyone needs it. So I don't think there is a problem. There should be only a desire to get something from Krishna. Desire. That's the point. I always think that atheism, it's not about logic. Atheism is very emotional movement, we can say. They just hate this idea of God. That's all. Because my, my experience to have some one. Huh?
It's just that we are waiting already for
Okay.
the other.
My experience is that they don't have a logical arguments, really logical arguments. Okay, we should finish. Sorry, Prabhu, I'm sorry. Grazie Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Oh, Premanandi, Hari Prabhu.